the time because, well, I literally had 10 gigs left on my laptop. I'm like, "Oh, I gotta clean up."
It is
Sorry,
all
everyone.
good. I mean, you do so much work for everyone, and so I understand, your stuff will be, like, overloaded and stuff, just full of amazing work that you do, so no worries. But anyhow, happy Saturday, yay, feliz sábado, mi gente, ¿cómo está mi gente latina? Un saludito especial para todos ustedes quienes están celebrando el mes de la hispanidad, o como ustedes gusten decir, de la herencia hispana. ¿Qué les parece? How am I sounding? You like my Spanish?
You sound great, and on top of that, look at that. Who's one of the first people? Boom, booyah.
Oh, my daughter, my baby girl, she turned 10. Oh
I
my
know.
gosh.
Can
So, baby, thank you so much
can
for
you
supporting mom.
sing a little mini happy birthday in Espanol?
Yes. Feliz cumpleaños a ti. Feliz cumpleaños a ti. Feliz cumpleaños a Jocelyn. Feliz cumpleaños a ti. Yay!
Happy birthday, beautiful. We love you.
We love you, we love you. She had a blast last weekend and, had a couple of her best friends doing a sleepover. Of course, mommy was, was a little overwhelmed,
Mhm,
but it was okay.
mhm.
It was worth it. Seeing her smile, it makes it even better. But anyhow, how has your week been, ma'am?
Well, I would say, normally it's great, but, it was a rough one. It started off very, very sad. I lost had to
Yes.
say goodbye to my pup of 16 years, my firstborn,
Oh,
and, yeah, I don't have children, so this was a real we're working through it. I'm not gonna lie to
yeah.
you.
Yep.
We're not happy. No one's
Yeah.
happy about this, so, yeah, but
Yeah.
otherwise, my soul is good. I'm just going through a grieving process.
I understand, and like I said, it's never easy. I went through that not too long ago, and but you were amazing, and the way you've handled it this way, I commend you, and I admire you so much. You know that. But
Oh,
yes,
thank you.
it is never easy. Let's say that. So everybody, hug your fur babies. They are our kids. They really are. So having said that, I'm so excited. I know this week has been pretty busy as well with so many different projects that we're going. I mean, gosh, shout out to Chris Malizuski and Walking Tall Movement. I am so excited, you guys. So many things that are happening. Zia and myself are going to Nashville, Tennessee next week for the mental health conference. Oh my gosh, like I am so excited of everything that is coming. From all the projects that are going on. So, shout out to Stephen Eng, brother,
And
you so much for sending me that picture. So he has a display of all the Latino books or books that have been written by Latino authors, and I'm like, oh my gosh! And he just made me cry. I was like, it's so inspiring to see so many Latinos and Hispanics doing amazing things for the world. So. And that's why we're here. Por eso es que estamos aquí en el día de hoy, porque queremos básicamente celebrar nuestra hispanidad, nuestras raíces y cómo nosotros como latinos estamos dando pasos agigantados para dejar nuestro legado en todo el mundo. Y hoy me enorgullece de verdad de tener a dos mujeres que son unos pilares en sus industrias respectivamente, pero que han pasado tantas adversidades, pero que no han dejado que esas adversidades les permita truncarles el camino. Ellas son literalmente unas personas muy respetadas dentro de sus industrias, pero no nada más eso, tienen un corazón enorme, no se diga más. They have a heart of gold. See, it's like I understood like 50% of that.
I did. But hey, the fact I understood 50%, I was like, "Oh, win," because I never get to practice it up here, so
Yes.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, Kenny. Oh, Ken. I love you. Thank you so much for popping up. Ken, if I may, he is quite a person, like a personality on LinkedIn. Unfortunately, he's not on LinkedIn anymore. Um,
Someone
yes.
party poopered.
Uh-huh, and
Let's just
so
call it.
people, come on, like, I have to say that, like, he would not hurt a soul. He has this beautiful artistic and expressive language in which he just embodies so much love and gives so much love to everyone on the platform. So somebody probably got their panties in a wad, can I say that?
Yeah, someone was not fun. Like, okay, look, life is too short to complain about what if here's my philosophy on
Yes.
life. If okay, no one's going to say everything that's going to appease you. move on, ignore it. Unless they're saying something directly to your face and attacking you, then of course defend yourself, right? But if someone's just saying
Yeah.
something and you're just offended for whatever reason, like move on. Like, do you have to comment? Like,
Right.
there's a reason why the whole Karen word exists. Mind your
Yes.
own lane, people. Mind
Mhm.
your own beeswax. That's right, I
So,
said it.
having said that, I know Ken, he's no longer on LinkedIn, but we're trying to see if we can get him back. But even though he's not there, he still shows up and supports from YouTube. Thank you so much. You don't know how much that means, like what it means to me, knowing that true people really do value what we are putting out there into the universe. So, Ken, I love you, and I will see you soon. So you can give me my like, what is it, sweet potato cheesecake? Yes.
Dude, I've been hearing that thing for a year
I
now,
know.
and Kenny D, let's go.
I know. It happens, girl. But anyhow, how about we run the intro, madame? We've like 5 minutes in, 6 minutes in.
I know. I know. I was gonna say, I'm let's go, girl. All
All
right.
right, let's go. Hey y'all, welcome to my corner. This is your girl Raquel, aka Raki. Step into our world of connections where I'm a proud Hounds of Business Pack leader, which is a community of entrepreneurs committed to sharing positivity, growing together, and never forgetting to inject some fun. Get to know amazing people in this safe space, so come and join me in my connection corner. And dance and dance and dance. Hey, hey. Okay, I'm getting in the mood. Look at you. I love when you do that little hoppity hoppy. And
Okay.
I see
Well, I didn't
Adriana
do
in the
this
background
today. I
just
didn't
like,
do this today.
what?
Okay,
That is true.
anyone, just full
But
reference. Full reference. This is me trying to be that nice little girl in that BBC video where she walks in on her dad's interview. That's all. She's just like, okay, that's it. That's all.
I know it's so many things that happen. And, one of the things that I tell individuals, like being a single mom, has been one of the most thrilling experiences, especially when you're trying to do live stream, programs. My 4-year-old, she don't care. She does not care. If she's hungry and if she wants even more, she'll bring me the items to the table, right? Where I'm sitting here, and she will be like, "Mommy, cut this for me. Mommy, I want this." So I've cut every which vegetable, fruit that you can think of while live streaming, and you guys probably don't even know it. But that is the beauty of being, right, multitasking at the same time. But it's so hard sometimes.
Own it, girl. That's all I'm saying.
It's reality. This is the one thing that I tell individuals, like, why must we shy away from being real, from being who we are? And that's why I love Adriana Dawson, because she keeps it 100. I'm like, yes, let's go. And I'm so glad that she's back, because I know she took a hiatus there. She was world traveling. Mírala, mírala no
I
más.
literally, I think I should just call her Dora because I'm like, hey man, because I produced their live stream, right? So I produced their
Yeah.
Friday live stream. So I'm like, are you back? Like, where are you? And then all I got was a LOL. That I'm like, okay, that doesn't answer my question, lady. But no, but they both Colin and Adriana have been
Yeah.
traveling. So we'll resume. We'll
Mhm.
resume in a little bit. Give it a few weeks, kids. We'll be back.
Yes, I've missed her, just amazing her amazing. So if y'all don't know, follow the show. I know she's here today. Y'all can definitely ask her questions. But my gosh, y'all, the celebrations for Hispanic Heritage Month have been so amazing, literally worldwide. I've seen so many different celebrations coming from left to right, and it's just I'm so proud, to be honest with you, of all of the amazing things that individuals are doing all over the world. So but anyways, before we continue, how about we shout out some of our sponsors? And you
I
already have it
screwed
there
up.
because you're so amazing.
Sorry, these are the sponsors.
It's okay. It's okay. I let it go because it's you.
Let
It's
it
Syya.
go. Actually, we can go both ways because they're all great sponsors and they've been very good to us. Very, 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 very good to us. So,
Well, how about you start with housing, madame,
well,
as I sip my coffee?
if you can see what's behind me is a Tausi. Actually, it's a pillowcase. And what it is, it's got a U shape built in plus a removable pillow. And it's good for those that have lumbar back issues or neck issues. You can use it for travel. You can do it if you want to read, in your backyard. If you want to read it on the beach somewhere and whatnot. Guys, it's versatile. Figure out how it's be comfortable for you, your back, your neck, give you that wonderful comfort. So check out Tausi. Shout out Janice Shokrion because she is part of the Hounds Pack. And speaking of the Hounds Pack, Raquel.
Absolutely. The Hounds of Business community. If you don't know who we are, where you been? Like, no joke. I always say that just because we are everywhere, and the community is growing daily. No joke. We're getting like 10 new members every day. And I'm like, oh my
It's
gosh,
hard.
how are we going to keep up with everyone? It is really difficult to keep up with everyone, but it is a beautiful thing and a magical thing to see that we are attracting so many different people all over the world from different industries, and we're growing, and it's magical, the collaborations that we're doing, the gatherings, it is just amazing. So everything literally just happened because of this one person, his desire, like he says, to make friends on this platform. So shout out to you, Mike Asherbanner. I know you are having a family day today, but you always show up and support for everyone. So thank you so much for your endless support, your endless cariño, todo el amor que nos ofreces. Te quiero mucho, mi hermano. We know we love you. Uh, just because sometimes you may get on my nerves, though, but the majority of the times we love
Okay,
you.
so hey, full disclosure, everyone, Raquel and I have had many conversations with Mike on the back end, really growing the Hounds community, growing this show, just in general, supporting each other for business, which feeds into Brilliant Bean Media. So we actually all work together. So the idea around the Hounds community is collaboration, right, and lifting each other up. So all ships rise with the tide, or as I like to say at Brilliant Bean Media, we all have our own inner lights. If we combine our Care Bear power stare, how much more powerful are we? So what we do is digital content strategy, full production, social media engagement and growth services. So if you have any questions on that, literally we are doing what we do for other clients as well. So Brilliant Bee Media, and you get the combination of the hounds. So
Yes, you get literally like 5 for 1. No joke. I am not kidding you. And this is why the Hounds community is super powerful, because we just have so many different, just businesses in the back end who are really doing collaborations. And I mean, they're bringing in gazillions, they're bringing in,
millions, millions,
money, mula, dinero, oro,
más dinero.
más, mucho más.
Dolores.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so it's one of those things, like I said, if you want to find out a little bit more, Mike always has a town hall every 2 weeks. He had one
Monthly.
yesterday.
We're switching it to monthly because we're going a little too.
Oh,
We're actually doing scalable growth, so it's going. We're going to
yes.
move to monthly, so it's scalable, and the community can actually absorb better.
Yes, that is true. He did switch it to monthly. And so if you want to find out a little bit more, I urge you to join one of those. If not, you can contact any one of us through the DMs. DM us hounds, just the hounds, and we will know that you're referring to that. So anyways, check us out. And then the last one, Madame, if you may, talk about Miss Tracy Lamb and everything that she's going with Safe and
Yeah,
Sound.
Safe and Sound is going to be a newly launched streaming TV show. I'm sorry, not TV, streaming show, because it's going to be all. It's a CTV and OTT network that is launching, called Caregiving Worldwide Network, and Safe and Sound is going to be one of the first shows on this network, and it's all about showcasing products for the caregiving industry. So this is both for the caregivers and the folks receiving it. So the Tausi, for example, has been and will be featured on Safe and Sound, and it is designed for making our lives much more comfortable for those that need physical therapy, for those that have disabilities, ongoing disabilities, for those that are in the aging realm. Which let me tell you, sister, I woke up this morning. I didn't sleep with my Tausi. I slept with another pillow, and my neck hurts
Mm,
badly. So no, there's
yeah.
some really cool things that you'll see from Safe and Sound. It ultimately is will give peace of mind. That's ultimately what the
Yes.
drive and goal of Safe and Sound is. They Christina and Cindy Harden Weiss, they are the hosts. They are also the hosts of the YouTube channel AE Corner, so Adaptive Equipment Caregiving Corner, and
Mhm.
just amazing women. They vet it for themselves and they give it the seal of approval. So just because you try to submit your product to Safe and Sound doesn't necessarily mean you get on on the show itself. They do vet it and give that stamp of approval, so with their combined, I don't want to age the ladies, but they both have 20 plus years 30 years experience each. So they
Mhm.
have in PT and physical therapy and speech therapy, so they know their stuff. So Safe and Sound, check it out,
Absolutely.
coming in this fall, end of October.
Oh, I know. I'm so excited. It's literally like a month away or so, around my birthday. So I'm excited.
Oh,
It'll be a way to
it,
celebrate, to see.
it
Yes, yes,
wait,
celebrate and see that.
birthday. Oh wait,
I know, I know. But you know, the one thing I do want to add to that is very important, guys. Just because the baby boomer population, y'all, they're turning 65 every single day. So we definitely need to get educated and be resourceful when it comes to just, being educated, literally, when it comes to taking care of our loved ones. So this is why it's so important, and that's why I've joined forces with them. I've partnered with them because I fully believe, wholeheartedly believe in the message and the vision that they have to make this world a better place for our caregivers. So shout out to you, Tracy and Janice. Oh, love you guys. Okay. All right. So, oh my gosh, I've stuck to the time and you did too. Look
I
at
know.
this.
Faster, faster. I'm like 30 seconds left. 30 seconds left. 30 seconds left. Let's go.
Ok, mi gente, pues bueno, antes de traer a nuestras especiales amigas que tengo hoy en día, es un honor literalmente, quiero dejarles saber de que estoy muy agradecida que ellas nos estén brindando su tiempo, pero también no solo eso, sino que las expertas que son dentro de su industria y todo lo que ellas dan a la comunidad hispana. Así es que sin más, ¿cómo se dice? Without further ado, I'm going to say that so you know that it's
I
coming
was
up.
catching what you're pitching.
Les presento a dos latinas que son una fuerza en el mundo. Se llaman Adriana Dawson y Celine Perez. Bienvenidas.
Woo.
Hello, hello, buenos días.
Buenos días, mis queridas amigas. Thank you so much for being here on a wonderful Saturday. I know it's family time, but you guys are making time in order to be able to bring this information and valuable information to our Latina sisters. And I know I say Latinas because this is what we're celebrating this month, right? It is Hispanic Heritage Month, but it applies worldwide. The knowledge that you guys will dish is worldwide and applies to everyone, whoever takes it, right? That's the way I say it. So without further ado, let's start with you, Adriana. Tell us who you are, what you do, y por qué le traes sazón a esta
El
vida.
sazón. Well, first of all, everyone, good morning. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month, mi gente. Rocky and Syya. What's going on, ladies? And it's an absolute pleasure to be joined by my other guest here. So it's a pleasure to connect. So, ladies and gentlemen, who am I? So, I'm Adriana Dawson. My cultural background, I am Colombian. Soy colombiana, nacida en los Estados Unidos, pero de familia de Medellín, Colombia. So I'm based out of New England. I'm in the Northeast, folks, and I currently I'm in the tech industry, the telecom industry, and I currently oversee our philanthropy and our community engagement efforts across the East Coast. So I'm in the business of people. I'm in the business of social impact, corporate social responsibility, and it's been a passion of mine over my 2+ decades of professional experience. So I've been a contributor across 6 different sectors. And as a woman of color and as a Latina, there have been many instances where I've been the only, sprinkling magic and adding flavor to the conversations. And sometimes it's been challenging navigating that journey. But as I was saying, across the 6 different industries where I have been a contributor, sort of the theme across all of those industries has been community, lifting community, allowing my employer partners to better understand and connect with flavorful and historically underserved and underrepresented communities. So I have been a cultural broker and leveraged my cultural fluency throughout my 20+ year career. And again, it's an absolute pleasure to be here with you, Rocky. That's it for now, folks, but stay tuned. Hold on tight.
I love that. And if y'all can't really tell why I love Adriana, it's just her enthusiasm, passion for life, and passion to speak up, the courage, having the courage to just say the things that some people don't want to say. All right. And that's what we dive. And I love that because we need that. We need advocates for our Latina sisters. We need advocates for our Hispanic, friends. So, but anyway, I have somebody else new. So I'm excited to meet her and for y'all to meet her because we are both Aggies. We bleed maroon. So, hey, whoop. Go ahead, Selena.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Rocky, for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I'm a solopreneur. So when I get to work with the team, I'm so happy to do that. So Yes, good morning. I'm Celine Perez. I live in the Rio Grande Valley, Texas. So, for those of you that don't know where that is, it's La Frontera de Texas y Mexico. So, born
Mhm.
and raised here, moved away to Houston, lived in Oklahoma for a little bit, but eventually came home. But what I'm finding now that I have my business is that, I love that we can work together, right? We have uh where are we? We're coming from. I'm from the Valley, and Rocky, you're from where do you live? In Houston? Houston,
Houston.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's been transformational for me and for my business. And so I'm like, I reached out to Rocky because yes, she's an Aggie and I'm an Aggie. And I was like, we're crazy, the Aggie network. It's amazing. And so I was like, how are you doing what you do? And she was so amazing and said, hey, come on. So yeah, what I do is I am a human resources consultant. So trabajo con negocios que tienen empleados como 20 hasta 90 empleados. And I go in and I help them with their processes and their systems. Many times, these businesses that are growing don't have like the HR person or that individual that is doing the things does not have the training for it. So that's where I go in. And if you look at the numbers, most of the businesses that are being started or that are in existence right now have that range from like 20 to about 100 employees. So I have been doing this for a year and a half. I absolutely love it. It's challenging. Having your own business is challenging, but I work mainly in the Hispanic market. Again, most of my clients are from Texas, and I'm loving it. So thank you so much. I'm so excited to be on with Adriana. You're an amazing trailblazer for the Latin community. Again, being born and raised here in the Valley, I didn't fully appreciate our culture until I kind of moved away or went to A&M, and I remember looking around going, whoa, I am a minority, I am a minority. And so what that felt like. So I'm so excited to be here.
Oh my God.
I have a
you're on mute,
question.
love.
I have a question, and I muted myself on purpose because a dog, my other dog barked. But okay, I have to ask, does that mean as a small business owner, I still have to worry about my mouth running off with my team? Look at Raquel's face. Look
Adriana.
at Raquel's face.
Yeah. There's a couple of things you can't say. There's a couple of yeah, you have to. But I know.
Behave, Syya. Behave. Come on.
I'm an angel. I'm an angel.
Yes, you are.
Yes, she is. She's a Flora angel there. But no, Adriana is used to Sia. So she's just like, Sia, cálmate, cálmate. No hagas esas preguntas. But yeah, no one can tame Sia. But ladies, this is the beautiful thing about it, right? Being able to discuss these things, being able to talk and be outspoken about some of the factors that we have to endure in the background. And I definitely don't want this to be turned in a negative way, but these things do need to be talked about, right? The challenges we face as Latina women, we literally, as a population, the Hispanic community is going to be what? The 20%, or right now we're 20%. We're projected to be 30% of the US population, the minority. We're the largest minority, right? By 2050. Oh my gosh, what does that say? However, though, even though we cannot get our Latina sisters to represent. We're only 2% in the corporate world right now. Isn't this correct, Adriana?
Yes, it's an unfortunate fact. And I love the opportunity that you're taking with your platform to continue to shed light, you and others, to continue to shed light on how employers can continue to activate our superpowers, how they can really lean in and leverage our cultural fluency as a business driver and a business imperative. To your point, right? You have large and small corporations that see our consumer buying power, that recognize the growth and the shift of our demographic. But historically, it has never been a priority customer for them. But now they're like, I got to go after that customer, but they don't know how, or they don't know how to engage. But one of the blind spots that they have is, how do you look at your internal talent within your corporation that is of that community, that has that lived experience, that can act as your cultural broker, that you can invite into the boardroom to help inform and influence strategy to help you get closer to the Latino market and the Latino consumer, right? And so to your point, I think unfortunately we have been overlooked and underestimated, and some of it, you know, I'll own. And then just for a quick second, and the reason that I'll own that, and we've talked about it, Rocky, is, you know, culturally, I unfortunately was anchored in a scarcity mindset, right? You know, having experienced certain things and coming from a very modest, you know, background, I didn't know how to think big. I didn't have a grit and growth mindset. You know, when I would ask for things, it was like, we can't afford it. We can't do that. It can't be done. Right. And so when I stepped into the world of work, I kind of stepped in with that mentality, and I didn't have the ability to think about what I could do, how I could do it, see myself aspirationally, because I was still anchored, you know, in that scarcity mindset. And it wasn't until I gave myself permission to be like, no, Adriana, you need to step into your brilliance. You are worldwide, girl, and the world needs to know who you are, that my career started to shift. But for a long time, it stalled. Some of it I'll own, but a lot of it is because of the structures and the systems that were set up that weren't designed to showcase and highlight my talents and my contributions.
Yeah, no, and I'm glad that you bring that up, because it's not only that, right? That we ourselves, the imposter syndrome, we let it
Absolutely.
beat us up and dominate, and but we must really break that. We must change that narrative, because we can be so much of a threat. You know, as this population grows of Hispanic, we as Latina women, we have like a triple threat thing. We're young, we're Latinas, and we are competent, right? We have so much to bring to the table. But I want to address LinkedIn user, change your settings so we know who you are. But it's saying, if I'm not Latino but a huge supporter of inclusion in cybersecurity, is this group and chat for me to take part in?
That's
Absolutely.
awesome.
Yes.
Bring it
It
on.
Absolutely. Like I said, this is we embrace everyone. You know, specifically, we're focusing on Latina women right now, just because it's Hispanic Heritage Month. But as in totality, as a group, we embrace every single body who believes in our message and our vision. And at the end of the day, if you have a good heart and you lead with kindness and love, hey, we love you. We love you already. So that's the idea.
Right. And absolutely, my background is in cybersecurity as well. So if you want to talk, let us talk, because I had an old show that I used to do with my girlfriend. It's called the CISO Diaries. I'm a huge advocate within the cybersecurity community to increase any level of, like, you know, I don't know, flavor, spice, whatever you want to call it. So, and that includes just by virtue of being female too. Like, it's like, you know,
Mhm.
anything is good. Variety is the spice of life. That's my philosophy. So yes, you're
I
always welcome.
love
And I
that.
love this one right here, Susie. No se puede.
Eso.
Susie,
Sa-
hola compañera.
yeah.
What's going on, Susie?
I love it. You see our Latina showing up, pero see, it's going from that mentality. No, we cannot. To yes, we can, right? Sí se puede.
Right.
Todos los días podemos literalmente hacer algo para autoempoderarnos como mujeres latinas, para salir adelante y quebrar esas barreras, romper esas barreras que a veces no nos permiten avanzar. Y por eso digo yo, mujeres, tenemos que unirnos, dejar esto de la envidia, que ay, que
That's
fulana está
right.
haciendo algo
That's
mejor que
right.
yo, que la otra está haciendo algo mejor que yo, que ay, que no me gusta. No, 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 no. Hay que unirnos, porque en unión está la fuerza. Y si, yo lo vivo diciendo todos los santos días, que digo yo, ¿por qué es que nosotros culturalmente tenemos eso de la envidia demasiado? Digo yo, ¿por qué no nos podemos apoyar como mujeres? Like, as women, why can't we just come together? Like, we are so powerful. We can change so much in the world. But Celine, I wanted to ask you. Go ahead.
Amen to that. I know when I was starting my business, I was so nervous to go and ask for help, because, you know, who's going to tell me, you know, what to charge? Who's going to tell me, you know, how they did it? And so, but you know what? People did. And I reached out, and they happened to be women that were already doing more or less what I was doing. And I thought, here I was sitting here thinking, nobody's going to help me. Nobody's going to want to offer their advice. And I was so lucky that I kind of made this like a mindset shift to say, like, you know what? I'm going to ask. The worst they can tell me is no, you know, or hey, I get it. Like, we all do our own things and we don't want to give the recipe away, but being supportive of one another in what we're trying to do is so important. And people are out there. There's so many good people in this crazy world. So many good people that'll say, you know what? Yeah, go to my website, check it out. This is how much I charge. So my advice is I tell everybody, like, don't be afraid to ask for it, because there's so much good in the world. And working with my clients, and before, when I had like an employee to a set of employees, I recognized that the women never came up to say, I want a raise. Never came to say, you know what, I've been here 5 years and nobody's ever looked at me, and I was like, but the men would come in all the time. I thought, wow, that is definitely a difference, right, between men and women in my demographic, right, where I was working. So I just tell, especially our young ladies and everybody, like, ask for it. Ask for it. The worst thing I can tell you is no, or give you the recipe for this is what you're lacking, because I'm big on getting feedback, so absolutely. And imposter syndrome is real, but surrounding ourselves with a great team, like all these ladies, and you have a beautiful community, I think that's what it's all about. That's what it's going to help elevate us as a demographic.
Can
I know that. Yeah,
I'm
go
so
for it.
sorry. Can I ask a question, ladies? And this is as an outsider looking in. And I feel there's a lot of commonality with our cultures between Asian and Hispanic and Latino cultures. Do you think we've made any progress with our cultures, respective cultures, when it comes to the dynamic between male female relationships and the role of the female in the family versus career? Do you think we've made any movement?
That's what we're trying to do right now,
Trying.
if I may. If I may answer that really quick. That is what we're trying to do right now. Just because, what my parents' truth, what they lived, is not my truth now. That my reality is different, way different than theirs. Theirs mentality was, you come to this country and you put your head down and you work hard. Yes, I know the value of working hard, right? But I also know what this brain can do and what it can bring to the table. So it's having them understand that I can be more powerful, not with these hands, but with my brain, in my efforts. It's been a little challenging, to say the least. And it boils down to the societal roles that are placed on the woman, as a Latina woman, to cater to the family, to cater to the man. So we're trying to do that. But in doing so, we're seen as rebels, feminists, black sheep, etc. And I know Adriana is like, let me talk.
No, but I absolutely agree. So to your point, right? And we're not singular. I don't only just have to be a good wife, a good mother. Like, it's not just this is who you are, right? It's I embrace all of it. The challenge is the work-life harmony, right? And as much as I aspire to be a superwoman and to be great at everything, I can't, right? And so we know that there are some areas that will suffer on occasion as we reallocate our time and our energy to support the safety net, right? To make sure that nothing kind of falls through the cracks. And also, like what I always say, because we tend to internalize all of this, the system also isn't designed to support us often as women. Think about childcare, right? Like, childcare to me is integral to workforce development, right? So, like, for women, in order to continue to aspire and think about their career trajectory, whether they're a single mom or they have a partner in the household, like, the cost of childcare for you to
Crazy.
leave your child to be able to travel with your job and be able to stay late or engage. So there are so many other variables that prevent us from upward mobility and creating generational wealth because of that upward mobility, that are outside of our control, that the system hasn't necessarily tackled yet, right? So we need to continue to have these conversations to help push back and inform those systems, and also be self-aware and give ourselves grace on what we can control and what we can't control.
I love that.
Totally agree.
Yeah, no, I mean,
yeah,
go
I
ahead.
think that it starts at home. I was lucky that I was raised in a family where my mom and my dad contributed, they working and in the home and getting us to school and picking us up from school. So I had that behavior modeled for me. And so for me, that was like a natural, like, I'm not going to cook dinner all the time. Like I can't like, so I have that I'm modeling that for my kids, and I have the most amazing partner. So I can do that. But I also had that modeled for me. And so as I sit here and I think, well, it's hard though, because I was listening to a podcast today and she's like, stay-at-home moms are so lucky because they can just, it's a leisurely thing and they can pick. And it's like, no, to have 2 or 3 kids when you have 2 or 3 young children, doesn't make sense financially to go put them all in daycare. You're just going to give your paycheck from one, to the other. It doesn't make sense. So it's a definite struggle. I know here in the state of Texas, there's a lot of help for women that are trying to go to work, and they also help, with childcare. But it's so challenging.
Yes, no, and I completely agree with that. Like I said, after my separation, my divorce, obviously, my life kind of like was in shambles because not only did I have to deal with the mental health aspect of it, but also the financials. I didn't realize a divorce, the like literally the financial breakdown or how horrible it is. I didn't think it through. But you know what? It's okay. I learned my lesson. Now that prepares me for whatever other phases in life I may face. And also that's a teaching lesson for my girls that I can pass down and say, prepárense, porque, because anything can happen. But one of the things that for me has been very important is to not feel like I'm out of place. How many times have you felt like you don't fit? Whether it's your internal battle with that imposter syndrome, or whether it's the societal or the external factors that like make you feel like that. I know I've felt like that going away to college at A&M. You know that, Celine. We're like, you look around and you're like, hey, am I supposed to be here?
Yeah.
So how does that feel? Was there an instance for you that made you feel like that?
To go and recognize like, oh, this is what it feels like to be a minority. Like, absolutely. It was, I was surrounded with friends. So, people that I knew. So I was, okay. And I'm pretty good with change, but again, I had a good background, a good family background. So, but I've also been where they just moved me aside. They literally just took me and moved me aside. I was trying to ask a professor something and I was like, oh, that's not right. So it's very challenging. I think we need to encourage our children or talk to our children about that and what it means and how we can overcome that. And just, I'm not going to say to succeed in spite of that,
I didn't know. What do you think about
all
that?
of that, and I still deal with that to this day. It's not anything that I all of a sudden, like magically, I feel like I belong everywhere. It's hashtag the struggle is real. I mean, one of the things from a very formative experience, and I realized this maybe about 10 years ago, which is crazy. I didn't have one single teacher of color in elementary school, high school, or college. Right. So when you talk about, modeling, Celine, and you talk about, so think about that, right? So I'm an only child, first generation, Spanish was my first language. And I'm in school, and all of my teachers, everyone that's kind of feeding me information about what the world is supposed to look like, how to move through the world, everyone was a representative of the dominant group all through high school and even through college, right? So when, as a young person, you're developing your identity and you're thinking about power, the only people that I saw that were in positions of power were members of the dominant group. Right. And so that lent to my imposter syndrome, because as I started to step into rooms and I was the only, it just perpetuated that unfortunate thing in my head where I'm not supposed to be here because I had never seen people like me in those spaces. And it wasn't until one of my first professional jobs after my master's degree, and it was this amazing Puerto Rican woman who was like 4'11".
Woo.
She worked for the governor's office and like literally like told the governor what to do, where to be. And I had never seen a woman of color in a position of power. And she changed my life. She changed. She tried to slap the scarcity mindset out of me. Like, girl, wake up. Like, wake up. So absolutely. And I deal with it to this day to a lesser degree, because I'm grown And I've had a lot of lessons learned, and I know how to figure stuff out, but it doesn't mean that I still don't navigate. I just don't internalize it the way I used to 20 years ago.
Love that. Love that. She said, Adriana said, I don't play that game anymore. Mama don't
Not
play.
anymore.
And I love that. But you know what? In that sense, we have become, as we become more educated, we become more empowered, right? I always say that for me, education has been literally the scissor, the axe, whatever that cut that chain that anchored me to my cultural downfalls. Because my culture has beautiful things and aspects that I carry with it every single day, but it also has some negative, things that really do not let women, or we are not allowed to move forward as career professionals,
Mhm.
as whatever it is that we want to do, right? So it's one of those things that I'm like, I don't want my children to feel that way as they grow up. I have two young girls, and I never want them to feel like they're carrying cultural burdens that they have to fulfill. And I'm like, no, you be you, girl. Go out there and be awesome, because that's what you are. You're a unique mix, Dominican Salvadorian. You're going to rock this world. You're going to bring worlds together. You're going to forge so many collaborations that are going to be wonderful and positive, a positive contribution to the world. So, oh gosh, I'm like gushing over my children over here, but it's true. This is we have so many different Latinos coming together, or the intermixing, the global, everything is just happening, and it's a beautiful thing to watch. But yet, as Latina women, we still are slowly being visible and coming into those powerful positions where we can make more
So,
difference.
Rocky, can I add to that? So, one of the
Sure.
superpowers that I leaned into and I have been teaching my daughter is the power of code switching, right? And so I recognize that while I come from an urban area, there are a lot of Latinos, lots of diversity, and so like the swag that we have here might not be the same level of swagaliciousness that I bring to my meetings in corporate, because I've had to learn what parts of me I keep on 20% and what parts of me can be at 100%, right? And not everyone has learned the art or has learned how to master how to be that cultural broker and how to code switch effectively. I'm not suggesting you lose your swag, but I'm suggesting certain environments call for certain polish and certain sort of let's say again, certain swag. And so those are the things that we don't often talk about, that we impart on our kids, you know, and that we also have to be mindful of. So I just wanted to, as you were talking about your amazing daughters, again, it's an unfortunate truth that isn't often discussed, but the art of navigation, and people often ask, well, what do you mean navigate? What does that mean that you have to navigate? Well, that's one of them, is like that code switching. How Adriana is with her familia and her homegirls and her tias and her this is not the Adriana that might show up when I have to deliver a presentation to my senior leaders.
Oh no, of course not. And but that's the thing, we're like a chameleon, right? This I always say this, I always felt like I was a chameleon as I was going through college, just because I was able to navigate and fit in so many different settings. And so when people, and this is true, y'all, when I was working as a manager at this home health agency, coming from A&M, fresh out of A&M, I'm very polished. So they will hear the Harvard voice on the other line. And then when they saw me, when they came into the office and they saw a Latina, they were like, was I talking to you? I said, yes, my name is Raquel. And they were like, oh, you could see it in their face, but obviously they couldn't explain it. And I knew it. I knew from the get go, but I'm like, why is it that we can't be that? Right. I know that was one of my things when I was learning English. I was like, I will learn the language as best as I can. And sometimes my English is not that very good looking, but you know what? It's okay. I manage.
I love that. I love that. But in code switching, Adriana, that's I've never really like heard of that term before, but I think it makes sense, right? We want to be able for our children or our partners to be, we go to taqueria and we have a great time. We go, or we're invited to go sit with the governor, and have a meal. We can do that too and not feel like we don't belong. So I think doing all that, feeling like yeah, I'm good, right? Not like I'm not supposed to be here. That's pretty cool. I think that we can teach our children to do that, with confidence.
Yeah, and then there was a comment, I believe it was Susanna that said, or Susie, we need to start teaching inclusion since that they're young kids in elementary, and that's true. I mean, I believe that inclusion is such a powerful thing that we must start ingraining in them, because they'll grow up in a different environment in that sense with a different mindset, and this is my wish for my kids too. Like I said, for them to be able to see that, embrace all the differences that is out there, and see the beauty in each and every, instead of seeing what sets them apart, or the labels, etc. I saw a comment in Portuguese, and I was just like, "Oh, boa tarde, minha gente. Os quero muito." I also speak Portuguese, so I just
Of
wanted
course
to make
you
sure
do,
I give a
Rocky.
shout out.
Woo!
Boa tarde para todos vocês. Yes, but that's the beauty again. I chose as a Latina woman to do that because I saw that if nobody's out there doing it, why can't I do it? Why can't me, Raquel Flores from El Salvador, be somebody who makes the difference for my
Right.
community, for my people, and also globally, internationally? But why do sometimes Adriana, and I ask this question to you because I know we've spoken about this, in depth. Why do we hold ourselves back? What do you think is our fear?
It's the fear of failure. I believe that's one of the threads, right? Because getting back to these cultural norms, some of which are amazing, our tradiciones, la cultura is amazing, but there are other things within our culture that are ingrained in our DNA, right? So be seen and not heard, the bonita calladita kind of thing, those expectations of us in terms of like having dinner at the table at a certain time, and all those things. So um, when we anchor ourselves in that, or that's part of our identity, it's hard for us to see ourselves differently, right? Or if you grew up in a household where, in my case, my parents were factory workers, they didn't come from these professional settings. I didn't know what to aspire to. I just knew hard work. I knew grit. I knew how to get it done. I knew how to make $1 out of 15 cents, but nobody told me how to activate superpowers in a professional setting. So there are all these things that nobody decoded for me when I was growing up, right? So when I entered my adult phase, I felt like there were so many other women, amazing women that were um, further along in their mindset and in their career because they'd been given a head start. They had things and access to things that I didn't have access to. So that's why, again, Rocky, I just so appreciate your platform and these conversations, because it's creating awareness for young leaders and emerging professionals and our allies and colleagues and champions about how to create safety nets for other women, how to celebrate us, how to amplify us, because sometimes we can be our own worst enemy unintentionally. So we need hype people like, you got this, girl, you can do it. Or if you need help, I'm here. We need all of that. But I think a
Yes.
lot of it initially is just our own fear of failing and letting our family down because of all the sacrifices that they made to put us in the position that
Oh
we're
my gosh. Yes, yes, I completely feel that. I mean, that resonates, to the core with me, just because I don't want to feel like I failed my parents in the
in.
sacrifice that they made of coming to this country to provide for their family. And I think at this point, they're very proud of what I've accomplished so far, but I just feel like I've barely started scratching the
That's it.
surface for my culture, because I'm not letting some of those traditional curses come with me as I move forward in this journey. And we're coming to a point in our lives where we really have to be courageous and make decisions as Latinas, how we're going to continue moving forward and being portrayed. So, okay.
Awesome. So, ladies, I have a question. So, how have you, in your experiences, kind of dealt with fear and moved on, obviously very successful? How is there any tips that you can give? Because I think I always ask myself, if I don't do this, or if I don't at least try, I'm going to regret it, right? And the fear I guess regretting it is more powerful in me than the fear of
Mhm.
failure, you know? So, but I'm curious, how do you all handle dealing with the imposter syndrome and fear?
Oh my goodness. Adriana, do you want to
Yeah,
take
I'll
that?
just answer that quickly because this became sort of my new mantra last year, and I've been like sticking to it. I went from the why me mentality to try me, baby. So
Wow, I love
when
that.
I went from why me, why am I here? Like, oh my gosh. When I went from that to no, you need to try some of this because like this can change your, this can change this conversation, this can change your life, this can change like your new revenue stream. So Selena, again, it was the mindset. When I went from why me to try me,
You
it,
took
it
off.
became a game changer for me.
I love that.
For me, Celine, to answer your question, I've gone through so many different transitions as I go in life, and I keep telling myself, if I don't do this, then who will, right? I look around and I see I don't have any really big role models for my kids, and I'm like, if I don't have that for them, just like I didn't when I was growing up, then who will be there for them? So I must it transform into that person that I needed when I was growing up. And so that in itself drives me to
Mhm.
move forward. Como, as Latinas, we have this, and I don't know if you've heard it, but in El Salvador is like, even if you dive into doing something fully, del piso no vas a pasar, del suelo no vas a
Mm-mm.
pasar. You just pick yourself right back off that floor. So we have a saying that even though you may fail or you may, te das en los dientes, like we have that, right? You can stumble and it's like hit your mouth and break your teeth. That's what they say in Spanish, right? Del piso no pasas. The floor is where you
It's
stop.
true.
So what do? Just come back up,
Mhm.
come back up. And while you're at the floor, you gain to a different perspective of how you may look at things, right? And so for me, that's what's been keeping me going for the last 3 years, just because it's yeah, these 3 years of transitions, right? We're afraid of those transitions. We're afraid of the uncomfortability because we don't know these things. As we continue to grow, personally, professionally, we will be uncomfortable. So I've been perpetually
Yeah.
uncomfortable for these 3 years, but that's good, right? Because we're growing.
That's
Yeah.
so awesome. So good.
Yeah. So I know, we're literally like almost coming to the end part of the show, but what advice would you give young minds? And now I would start with definitely our teen girls, because if you did not know, Latina teens are one of the highest rates who die by suicide because they are misunderstood. So to me, it's mostly a cry out for help and for us to really unite as a community to help those young Latinas feel, or Latinx, as sometimes they do define themselves or identify themselves. What message would you give to them, of hope and of feeling understood? Anybody can take it. Sorry. Yeah. No.
So
No.
I do. I have a daughter. This is such a good question. I have a daughter. She's 17. We're looking at colleges right now. We're like, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? And I tell her because anxiety is so prevalent I think in all cultures, right? It's just so bad right now. And I tell her to dream, dream, dream big. Don't be afraid to dream big, and say it and put it out there and work towards it. Um, Also with that confidence of I'm right on time and everything that should happen is going to happen, right? So she wants to get in certain schools, and I'm like, oh my goodness, you know what? All we can do is try, and then we pray and hope that with the knowing that things will come out just as so. But for other children that I see, I know I living in where I live, there's a strong, I guess, indigent population, and so there is such a need. I think that I wish there was. Is there a nonprofit that talks to young girls about options, because there's such a need, and I would love to help. I That's a great question. I don't know where I could donate my time, talent, and treasure, because Latina girls, they are truly our future. Do y'all know?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Adriana?
Wow.
Mhm.
No, you're absolutely right. So what I would just add to that is today is just one day of 365 days of the year, right? And so it's reaching out for help. Um, Identifying that you need help is a sign of courageousness. It's a sign of maturity. And so identifying the resources around you that can just lend additional support. And then as far as seeing themselves into the future is stay curious, ask a lot of questions,
Mhm.
probe, investigate, stay in that stage of curiosity, right? Because you don't know what you don't know. And so learning is a lifelong journey. And I would just advise young talent and young leaders to explore the unknown and stay curious.
Love that. I love that. Yes, curiosity definitely is one of the driving factors. Like especially for me, I'm like I want to learn. I want to keep learning. I want to keep learning, and in that way, you continue amassing so much knowledge that you're like, okay, I can hold on to this. I can hold on to that. Especially if they don't have a role model in in their lives, they really need to really hunker down and cement to something that speaks to their heart. So I know, Sia, there's a question, so I definitely would want to address these before we leave. Are there any good advocate groups that focus on digital accessibility for Latinos that you may know of, or people in the audience, please?
Mhm.
There are a number of national organizations. So if you want to DM me, and I will be happy to send you the resource list. And I actually partner with 3 or 4 of them that are both national in scope and regional. So happy to follow up. Thank you for the question.
Selena, in your industry, do you know of any?
I'm not familiar. I'm not familiar. I know here locally that, when I guess when COVID hit, there was a couple of programs that were out there to provide like internet access to our community, but I'm not sure. I'll have to do some research.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like I said, I will have a list of those resources as soon as the show ends so that individuals, and then I'll also email you, or not email you, DM you that one. And I know it says LinkedIn user, so please let us know your name so that we can find you, or DM one of us so that we can get that information out there, right? Because it is much needed. My goodness. Okay. We have another question. Charles Phillips. Do we see people as customers or employees only, or as people that we care about and want to have as coworkers and customers? Oh, okay. Does that make sense, right?
I think this
I
was
think it
along the
depends.
conversation earlier on. It's been sitting for a little bit, but I think, and Charles, just jump in because it's been a while since this question has been around. But I think it's a question of, if you think about the Hispanic and Latino cultures, I think it's very inviting when you do business relations. It's very familial, right?
Mhm.
Whereas I think in the American side or Western side, it's very much business, numbers, facts, and
Right.
less about that type of that la familia, right? So I think the question he's asking you is, how do you guys see this as executive leaders yourself? Do you see
Mhm.
people as customers or employees, or do you see them as like families and uh, deeper than that? I'm just guessing, Charles. That's your question.
No, and I think that's right, and I think that's an expectation of the Latino employee and of the Latino market, just because of, again, our traditions, our customs, and so we have different expectations. And when it feels transactional, when it doesn't feel relational, it doesn't feel good, because we lead with our hearts, for good, bad, or whatever. And so it's an expectation that we have of employers. So when employers are not investing in us, they're not showing love, we just feel like, we're kind of in this hamster wheel, that it's just not a good familiar feeling to us, because that's not what's been poured into us. And we carry that into the workplace. So again, it's a very personal decision for those of us in the workplace, or as consumers. Do we want to do business with this entity? Do we want to continue to work with this entity? So a lot of the onus falls on us to figure out kind of what's a good fit. And I hate to use the word fit, but where do we feel like we belong, and what works and connects with our energy? And if it's not where you are, or if it's not the business that you're looking to purchase the goods from, don't buy from them or don't work for them. We have choices, folks.
That's right. That's right. I totally agree. When I go in and I talk to, when I was doing research on basically what how small business is working in terms of their staffing and their rules and regulations and employment handbooks and all that, I had a really great conversation, and he's a very successful businessman. He goes, Celine, it all starts from the top. If you talk to the CEO or the president of the company, and they are, very people centric, very, I want my people to have benefits. I want them to have a retirement plan, all that it starts from the top. And so you create a culture that is more, more inviting. And I can guarantee you that his turnover rate is a lot lesser than somebody who is, they're my employees. They're getting the job done, more transactional, like Adriana said. So there is a difference. And we do have a choice. Who do we want to work with, right? Where do we want to work? So we're trading our time for dollars. Where's my purpose in that? Where do I fit that in? That's very important to showing up.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, like, I just love how everybody's being able to speak up and say those things, because some of individuals out there are really, really scared to say things, to say what's in their hearts for fear of judgment, for fear of, being labeled, oh, they're not good enough or whatever it is, or failing, right? But as parting, I know, as parting words, I know we're gone a little bit over the hour, but I would like to leave the audience with a golden nugget from each one of us, in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, in honor of our Latina sisterhood that we have. But just leave us with a golden nugget, an inspirational bit that will carry us through the weekend and through the rest of this month. What would you say, ladies?
I'll just pop in quickly, and my words of affirmation here and inspiration is: step into your brilliance, embrace it, and shine. Like, seriously, shine and allow others to shine and amplify others. But in your success and in your brilliance, know that there are others with you. Like, it's a constellation of stars. But remember, the world deserves to know you. Share your gifts with the world. Don't be selfish and keep them to yourselves, right? Like, amplify your strengths, activate your superpowers, and bring your brag bag with you. Let folks know what you've done and you've accomplished, because you might be doing some great stuff, but if nobody knows about it, who are you signaling, right? That you are the right candidate, or that whatever the case may be. So brag and shine and step into your brilliance.
Oh, that's so good. I love it. So I'm going to leave with from going from why me to try me. I think we need a t-shirt that says that. That's so great. My golden nugget is to surround yourself with people that are supportive. And sometimes that means making the tough decisions to shy away from, or make the intention to say, you know what, this person is not adding value to my life. It's a unilateral relationship. So I think I'm going to make the decision to only put people in my life that are caring for me, that are going to watch out for me, that are going to cheer for me. And so I think that surrounding yourself with the right people is pivotal to creating that transformation that you want. So again, dream big, but put everything that you can in place. Having a good team of people to support you. Also, the power. Somebody mentioned it. The power to say no. That's powerful. As women, we think we're supposed to do all the things and be at all the places, but when we have a certain goal in mind, like, that means that we're going to have to say no to certain things. Not no forever, but no for now. And yeah, I just want to thank you so much for being on your show.
Yay. Oh my gosh, this has been phenomenal. And I know we could go for eons, no joke. We really can. But I know, for respective time and everyone's, just amazing things that you have to do after this, we would leave it at that. But my parting words would be, and this is based on what I have experienced, my life experiences and my journey, is know your value. You are worth it. Whatever it is that you feel that there's a doubt an ounce of doubt in your being, just know that you are worth whatever it is that is doubting you. Try to just let that go. Know that you are worth, your value is invaluable to this world, and just start learning to cherish that and put it out there in the world. I know it sounds like, like, how am I going to do that? Just have the courage and do it. Do it. Once you take that first step and just let go of all the fear, it is so liberating. And what people end up saying at the end of the day, ya ni te va a poner, no te va a dar nada de importancia. Literally, you won't even care anymore, right? Because you are so empowered and you know your worth. So I just wanted to make sure that, my Latina sisters out there hear me when I say that. You are worth it. You have so much to give to the world. Do not succumb to the idea that you were just fit for this societal role that society dictated on you. No, you are much more than that. You are beautiful. You are brains. You are powerful. So never forget to educate, empower, and uplift one another. And to me, that's been such ingrained in my heart because I lived it and I don't want other women to go through that. So with that being said, ladies, I want to thank you for the amazing time that we've had so far. We may have to do a part 2 and 3, or even maybe a series soon, yo. Um, of just making sure that people know, let our Latina sisters know, we are here. We're here for you. You are not alone in this journey, and nothing is wrong with you. Just know that you are perfectly okay, and you will be okay. So without anything else to say, I just want to thank the audience for the comments, for the questions. We will continue our Hispanic Heritage Month series with phenomenal guests next week. Again, we'll do the Spanglish, session, but I just want to say I am so proud of every single one of you and what your contribution has been to the world. You guys are rock stars. My gosh, son ángeles que están literalmente iluminando el camino de muchas mujeres. Así que les agradezco muchísimo por todo el esfuerzo que han hecho, por todo el amor que nos brindan todos los días y por ser literalmente unas líderes dentro de sus industrias. So without further ado, thank you guys. I love you, and I'll see you guys next week, okay?
Thank you.
Ciao.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us, and I hope our chat inspired you to make a new connection. Please like and subscribe, and let's build a great community in our little corner where we get serious business done by injecting fun. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, come back to Raquel's Connection Corner.